Why do so many gifted children grow up to be adults who feel stuck, disconnected, and frighteningly alone? When they were young, they were told they were special. They were praised, admired, celebrated. People predicted a bright future for them, saying, "You're going to go far." Compared to their peers, they did stand out. They grasped things quickly, memorized with ease, won competitions, read books far beyond their age. They grew up believing their intelligence was their superpower, that a life of achievement and recognition awaited them. But somewhere along the way, something went wrong. At some point, their inner confidence turned into constant self-doubt. The praise they once took pride in became a burden, and the role of the smart kid turned into a cage. Now, as adults, many of them feel apathy, chronic procrastination, social isolation, and a strange sense of being off. They can't explain why it's so hard just to live. On the outside, everything seems fine. They're still intelligent. They can dazzle with logic or intellect when needed. But inside, there's an emptiness, a feeling that life is passing by somewhere else. They're not part of it. They're merely watching it unfold. And there's a reason for that: the smart kid trap. As children grow, they shape their identity around the traits they're most frequently recognized for. Some see themselves as funny, others as rebels, some as the life of the party, and some as the smart one. It's like a costume you wear, and the world starts to expect you to keep it on. Smart kids develop a deep anchor in their sense of self. You're smart isn't just a compliment. It becomes the way to be valued, loved, accepted. It becomes central to their identity, and it works until it doesn't. Why being smart is not a gift, but a ticking time bomb. Kids are rarely praised for their effort. They're praised for results, especially when those results come effortlessly. In other words, the child is celebrated not for trying, learning, failing, and getting back up, but for understanding quickly, achieving easily, and winning without effort. And so a dangerous belief forms in their mind. My worth lies in doing things easily. If something is hard, maybe I'm not that smart after all. This belief becomes a virus, dormant, until life begins to throw real challenges, exams, competition, rejection, failure. That's when it awakens and begins to quietly destroy from within. Now, every hard moment isn't just a challenge, it's a threat to their identity, a terrifying possibility of being found out as not so smart after all. The child, now an adult, starts avoiding anything that doesn't guarantee success. They're afraid to try new things, afraid to fail, afraid to look foolish. They don't take risks because a mistake isn't just a mistake. It's a failure of their entire self. And so, life begins to shrink. They choose only what's familiar, only what they're already good at. They don't raise their hand unless they're 100% sure. They don't try new skills. They avoid competition. They postpone projects, afraid they won't be perfect. Over time, their world narrows to a thin strip of comfort. Inside that strip, they feel competent, but everything outside it brings anxiety, shame, and paralysis. They might dream of something bigger, but they don't move because they're afraid to break the image, and soon it's not just ambition that fades, but connection. Why this leads to loneliness? Human connection is born in moments of imperfection. When we do things together, when we mess up, when we stumble through awkwardness, laugh, and support each other. But if you're terrified of looking foolish, you avoid the places where these moments happen. You don't join the club. You don't sign up for the course. You don't strike up conversations. You isolate, and the longer it lasts, the scarier it is to return. It starts to feel like it's too late, like you've fallen behind, like everyone else knows how to live, and you're just watching from the sidelines. When intelligence becomes a mask, you begin to use your mind to compensate for the loneliness. You analyze people, study behaviors, rehearse conversations in your head. You seem to understand how the world works, but you don't feel it. This is called cognitive empathy. When you logically grasp what others feel, but can't truly experience it with them, and even communication becomes a task you need to perform well. If you're not sure you can, you opt out. You avoid connection, not because you don't want it, but because you don't know how to be vulnerable in it. Why intelligence doesn't save you? It seems like, if I'm so smart, I should be able to figure out what's wrong and fix it. So you try to think your way through the pain. You analyze, explain, argue with yourself, but the more you think, the further you drift from feeling, because emotions aren't puzzles. They're not solved through logic. They're felt through words, through the body, through tears, through acceptance, not through charts and arguments. Intelligence is a tool, but when you use it to patch holes in your heart, you're just covering a crater with plywood, and then comes the shield of superiority. When the pain becomes unbearable, the psyche activates one last defense: detachment through superiority. You tell yourself, I'm just different. No one understands me. I'm too deep for all these shallow people. But that's not the truth. It's just a less painful way to explain why you're alone. That's how defensive arrogance is born. One of the most isolating and self-destructive coping mechanisms. It builds a wall between you and others. And even if you long for connection, it's out of reach while you sit on a pedestal. Because real closeness demands the opposite: humility, openness, the willingness to be imperfect. What can you do about it? 1. Let go of the smart identity. You can be intelligent without making it your core identity. It's just one of your qualities, not your entire worth. When you stop trying to prove you're exceptional, you gain the freedom to make mistakes, to grow, to be alive. 2. Build a new identity centered on growth, not judgment. Ask yourself, what helps me grow even if I'm not good at it yet? Where am I curious, not just competent? When you value progress over perfection, life opens up again. 3. Allow yourself to be unskilled. Being a beginner takes courage. Go where it feels scary but exciting. Try something you've never done. And yes, you might look silly, but in that, you'll find life, joy, connection. 4. Trade the pursuit of perfection for the pursuit of authenticity. Your worth isn't in doing everything flawlessly. It's in being yourself, real, vulnerable, strong, flawed, human, because only then do you become reachable by others. And finally, if you're reading this and something resonated, know this: you're not alone. There are many like you. They're just quiet too. You're not broken. You've simply lived too long inside a false story that being smart means being perfect. It's time to step out of that story, to be simply alive, awkward, joyful, human, to be with others not because you're smarter, but because you want to be seen too. If any of this spoke to you, leave a comment. That's already a step. And if you'd like to keep walking this path, subscribe to the channel. See you in this messy, imperfect, but beautifully real world.